Hello, it's time for Makat News. Welcome to our channel. Our concept is to bring you the latest news from Japan. Please be sure to watch until the end. Thank you. Alright, let's begin with the first news. Regarding the incident in early July where around 100 Kurdish individuals of Turkish nationality caused a disturbance in Kawaguchi City, Saitama Prefecture. The Turkish ambassador to Japan, Gunjan, expressed in an interview with the Sankei Shimbun. It is a sad and deeply regrettable occurrence. He also urged some of the Kurdish individuals to adhere to Japanese laws and customs while staying in the country. According to Gunjan, there are approximately 6,000 Turkish nationals residing in Japan, with the highest numbers living in Saitama Prefecture, followed by Aichi Prefecture, centered around Nagoya, and then Tokyo. Gunjan pointed out, the majority have assimilated into Japanese society and have acquired proficiency in the Japanese language. Regarding the tensions and conflicts arising among local residents due to the incident in Kawaguchi City, he stated that he is concerned, and mentioned that they are making efforts to address the issue through collaboration with local authorities and the police. He emphasized their utmost efforts to prevent these conflicts from adversely affecting the friendly relationship between Turkey and Japan. Furthermore, Gunjan called upon Turkish nationals to adhere to Japanese laws and customs during their stay, mentioning that the embassy encourages Turkish nationals to acquire proficiency in the Japanese language for these reasons. Regarding the fact that some Kurdish individuals residing in Japan apply for refugee status based on discrimination and persecution in their home country, Gunjan countered, it is a mistake to portray the situation as if Kurdish individuals are treated as separate entities in Turkey. Kurdish individuals are guaranteed political freedom for all forms of activities in Turkey. The Turkish government has been pursuing the elimination of the illegal armed organization, the Kurdistan Workers' Party PKK, which has sought the independence of a Kurdish state. International human rights organizations and others have pointed out that the rights of ordinary Kurdish residents have been compromised during the fight against the PKK. Moving on to the next news. On the 16th, Kurt Campbell, the coordinator for Indo-Pacific Affairs at the U.S. National Security Council, NSC, revealed that during this week's trilateral summit between Japan, the United States, and South Korea, the establishment of a dedicated line to be used by the leaders and high-ranking officials of the three countries would be announced. He made this announcement during a think tank event held in Washington, D.C. Campbell explained, the three countries hold responsibilities for dialogue and responding to emergencies. According to him, the annual normalization of the Japan-US-South Korea Summit will also be announced in conjunction with this initiative. The aim of such efforts is to institutionalize the framework of the three countries in a way that ensures security cooperation remains unaffected, even if political relations deteriorate in the future. It is anticipated that the Japan-US-South Korea Summit will result in the adoption of two documents, a joint statement and the Camp David Principles. The main focus will be on deepening cooperation among the three countries, shifting from the traditional policy towards North Korea to a more comprehensive cooperation framework. The areas of cooperation include military affairs, missile defense, joint exercises, economic security, semiconductor supply chains, next-generation technology development, development cooperation, infrastructure projects, financing frameworks, environment, healthcare, education, among others. It seems that a framework for regular consultations among leaders, foreign ministers, defense ministers, and security advisors will be established within this framework. Translation note: Camp David Principles refers to a set of principles established during a summit at Camp David, Maryland, USA, that focused on strengthening trilateral cooperation among Japan, the United States, and South Korea. Moving on to the next news. On the 16th, Foreign Minister Yoshi Masao announced that the Japanese government will provide disaster relief assistance totaling $2 million, approximately 290 million yen, through organizations such as the American Red Cross in response to the wildfires on Maui Island in Hawaii. The assistance will involve providing $1.5 million, approximately 220 million yen, to the American Red Cross, which is active in the affected areas, and offering a grant of $500,000. Approximately 70 million yen to the nonprofit organization Japan Platform, known for its international emergency humanitarian support. These funds are expected to be utilized for ensuring safe evacuation sites, securing food supplies, and offering psychological support to the affected individuals. Minister Yoshi stated to the press at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Japan and Hawaii have maintained a long-standing, friendly relationship, with a wide range of exchanges taking place actively. Our country stands together with all of you in the United States, our sole ally. Regarding the presence of Japanese nationals affected by the disaster, he mentioned, while there is information that residences of resident Japanese have been affected, there is no information suggesting harm to the life or physical well-being of Japanese nationals. Translation note: Japan Platform is an international emergency humanitarian organization based in Japan. Moving on to the next news. In the previous day's New York market, the yen weakened further, dollar strengthened, pushing the dollar to the 146 yen range for the first time since November of last year. The previous day's strong U.S. housing-related indicators and the release of the minutes of the Federal Open Market Committee FOMC meeting from the previous month revealed concerns about upside risks to inflation, as expectations for additional rate hikes spread and U.S. long-term interest rates rose. It led to buying of the dollar and selling of the yen. In the autumn of last year, the Japanese government and the Bank of Japan intervened with dollar selling and yen buying when the dollar was in the mid-145 yen range. The current level of the dollar against the yen has surpassed that intervention point. The Japanese government and the Bank of Japan have been signaling their concerns about excessive yen depreciation, but the pace of yen weakening has been slower compared to last year. Moreover, there seems to be no intention to defend a specific level, so the likelihood of immediate dollar selling or intervention is considered low. However, if further yen depreciation occurs and accelerates, the possibility of intervention is expected to increase. Moving on to the next news. Pan Pacific International Holdings, the operator of the discount store Don Quijote, announced its financial results, reporting an operating profit of 105.3 billion yen for the current fiscal year, marking a record high. This is the first time that the operating profit has exceeded 100 billion yen. According to the financial results for the fiscal year ending in June of this year, as announced by PPIH, the sales revenue reached 1.9368 trillion yen, an increase of 5.8% compared to the previous year. The increased demand for outings due to the easing of COVID-19 restrictions boosted sales of seasonal products and other items at the core business, Don Quijote. Furthermore, the operating profit was 105.3 billion yen, surpassing the previous year by 18.7% and setting a new record for the company. The net profit reached 66.2 billion yen, marking the 34th consecutive year of increased revenue and profit. From the latter half of the previous year, relaxation of border control measures led to a rapid increase in consumption by foreign tourists visiting Japan. Duty-free sales amounted to 38.3 billion yen, and from April to June of this year, they showed a recovery to about 95% of the levels seen during the same period in 2019, before the pandemic. Moving on to the next news. The government is moving to initiate practical discussions with a government-affiliated fund from the United Arab Emirates, UAE, to attract domestic investments in the semiconductor sector. The government is advancing international cooperation for the stable supply chain of semiconductors and aims to utilize the substantial financial resources in the Middle East region to support the growth of related domestic companies. The practical discussions are expected to be facilitated by the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, involving the UAE government-affiliated fund, Mubadala Investment The target investments may involve companies excelling in manufacturing technology in the materials used in the semiconductor production process, or those engaged in the manufacturing of equipment. The specific investment framework will be deliberated upon in the future. Amid intensifying global competition in semiconductor development, the government is not only collaborating on research and development with countries like the United States and the United Kingdom, but also establishing frameworks for information sharing with the European Union (EU) to avoid disruptions caused by shortages of related materials. In addition to focusing on Europe and the United States, the government is turning its attention to the Middle East, due to the challenge of securing significant development funds. In the summer of last year, the government spearheaded the establishment of the new company, Rapidus, with plans to start mass production of advanced 2 nanometer nano as 1 billionth generation semiconductors from 2027. A technology that is yet to be fully established. The establishment of the technology and preparation of the production line are estimated to require investments of around 2 trillion yen and 3 trillion yen, respectively. During Prime Minister Kishida's visit to the Middle East in July, he met with UAE President Mohammed bin Zayed and agreed to enhance cooperation in the semiconductor sector. Officials from the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry state, with the generous oil money from Middle Eastern countries supporting our domestic companies, the path to reinforcing the semiconductor supply chain could open up even further. Behind the focus on the Middle East lies a sense of urgency due to China's increasing assertive moves in the East and South China Seas, and its growing presence in the Middle East in recent years. China confirmed economic cooperation during President Xi Jinping's visit to Saudi Arabia in December of last year, reportedly receiving significant investments from Saudi Arabia in the semiconductor sector. Concerns about China's rise from an economic security perspective have led the government to be more vigilant and seek opportunities to redirect investments from China to Japan. Moving on to the next news. Amid the issue of explicit conversations and images impersonating swimming athlete Daiya Seto being spread on social media, it has been revealed through interviews with investigative sources that Seto consulted the police about the situation today. The issue involves screenshots and explicit images depicting a person purported to be Daiya Seto engaging in explicit conversations with a woman through Instagram's direct messages. These materials have been circulating on the internet. Seto visited a police station in Saitama Prefecture just past noon, asserting that the images being circulated are entirely fabricated falsehoods, and lodged a complaint about being a victim of this situation. Daiya Seto, the swimming athlete. Regarding the false rumors on social media this time, all of it is fabricated images that are completely untrue. These images have spread, and I have been deeply hurt by this. I believe it is defamation. I hope that, through my actions, I can help reduce any harm or unpleasant experiences for others. According to investigative sources, the police have begun an investigation on suspicion of defamation and intend to identify the individual responsible for fabricating the images. Today's news ends here. On this channel, we cover daily updates, intriguing news, topics, and in-depth entertainment content. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest updates. See you again.